These are actual police pictures of Demi's cell phone inbox messages, text messages from Malarkey beginning at 1:03 in the morning on August 15th. You know you love me and can't live without me. The texts continue throughout the morning and at 12:10 in the afternoon. Please call me. I did nothing once again, and you lied to me and completely crushed me. Just call, please. At 12:22, it becomes apparent he's irritated that demi cuccia ignores some of the texts. Call me, baby. Please, I'll stop. At 12:28, call me. I want to make you not upset. At 12:51, Demi, stop it. Come see me. We both know you can, and you can talk now if you want it. Similar messages continue, and at 2:09 p.m., I'm not going anywhere. I'm done texting and calling you. If you want to see me, you will, 'cause I'm right here. Texting continues back and forth until Demi agrees he can come over. And at 5:37, 23 minutes before he got there, he writes, "Is Jake going to be home?" Jake being Demi's older brother.
And the text messages showed that, number one, he was in his right mind in the minutes and hours leading up to this horrible tragedy, and also that he was asking certain questions. For example, is your brother at home? Are you there alone? All this goes to the idea that he is testing the waters to see if this is the time that he's going to carry out his plan. Yeah, I think it took us about a day and a half to pick the
Mark Tranquilli, a 17-year veteran prosecutor at the Allegheny County District Attorney's Office, says he presented the cell phone texting at trial to show evidence of intent, premeditation.
And what you can see from John Malarkey's texts is that this is a young man who was very possessive, very controlling, very demanding of a 16-year-old girl. So, you know, in that regard, not perhaps much different than young teenagers. He carried through with this plan and actually murdered her.
One thing I do remember vividly was during the closing argument, the prosecutor, Mark Tranquilli, pounded his fist on the jury box 16 times, representing the 16 times Demi Cuccia was stabbed.
The case got national attention when the defense brought in experts arguing Malarkey's use of the acne drug Accutane contributed to mental instability. The jury didn't buy it. They returned a guilty verdict in 45 minutes.
45 minutes is pretty quick, particularly in a homicide.
Malarkey is serving his life sentence at the Huntington State Penitentiary. His attorney, Robert Stewart, tells me his client is not interested in talking to the media right now, mainly because he's seeking a new trial, an appeal based on the argument the judge in the case should have allowed the jury to consider voluntary manslaughter as a verdict. He told me he knows it's a long shot to win that appeal and get Malarkey that new trial. John Malarkey is serving life without parole. Tranquilli won't speculate on the basis of the appeal, but he's confident about his evidence.
The crime scene itself was pretty well confined, and I think we did a good job in showing that. And the jury, frankly, got to see all the text messages. The other thing in this case was the fact that he stabbed her 16 times. You know, it was the day after her 16th birthday. One stab wound for every one of her birthdays. You know, I think the jury had very little difficulty in this case coming to the conclusion that John Malarkey basically came to the decision that if he couldn't have demi cuccia, nobody could.
So they went in opposite directions. Malarkey went that way.
Well, she came out first.
For Jody Cuccia and her daughter Sage, every day is a memory of Demi at this house.
Have you forgiven John?
No.
Can you?
Nope.
Okay.
No, and you know, with church and having my relationship with the Lord, you know, pastors want to approach me and have approached me on forgiveness. And to me, forgiveness is up to the Heavenly Father. It's not up to me. So that's where I leave it.
Sage Cuccia was 12 when her older sister Demi was murdered here. She's never talked publicly about what happened until now.
A while ago, me and my mom were looking at pictures of her, and I just thought, I feel like I'm looking at myself, like, because we do look a lot alike.
You sure do.
Mm-hmm.
You think that helps your mom?
In ways.
And at age 16, everyone tells her she has a striking resemblance to Demi. Sage loves art and stenciled this of the two of them at Conneaut Lake. It's her private tribute, a way of showing the rest of us that we need to say what we need to say before it's too late.
I don't think I told her that I loved her a lot, and I wish I would have.
You're 16.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the lessons are from the tragedy that happened to your sister?
Just to get the word out there that it can happen to anybody, and that everybody needs to know that it could happen to them.
Are you more cautious because of it?
Mm-hmm.
In what way?
Well, now I know what's right and what's wrong in a relationship, and I know what to look for, what not to look for, what to keep my eyes open about and what not to.
What do you keep your eyes open about?
Just
Someone who's obsessing?
obsessive.
I saw the cheerleading coat here,
Yeah,
and that's...
that's her Letterman coat.
But she never saw it.
She never saw it. No, she would have seen it. Probably another week or so. And she was
And
really
while Gary Cuccia lives in pain every day too, he wants John Malarkey's family to know.
I want to say this, that I don't ever hold, he has a younger brother and a younger sister, and I never hold them accountable at all, and because I know they're not accountable. And I always think, like, what if my son, God forbid him do something like this? Like, I would not want my daughters to go through what maybe they do go through. His parents, they've never reached out to me.
If John was here right now, what would you say to him?
That I wish nothing good for him, that I still think that he's going to be held accountable for the rest of his life for what he's done, and I believe that when he dies, he's still going to be held accountable for what he's done, and I'll never forgive him. I will carry the pain with me till I die. I don't want to forgive him. I just think that what he did is horribly, it's evil.
But even with their broken hearts, Jody Cuccia and Gary Cuccia find strength.
I just would rather accept the pain and somehow do something with it.
To do something extraordinary, to make sure young people know about teen dating
It's
violence,
something that I treasure, and I feel her when I touch the hair, so I don't take it out too often though. So.
and the worst of what can happen.
I can do all things.
Hundreds came to numerous memorial services to mourn Demi Bray Cuccia and to support her grieving family.
You know, because at death, you know, you don't leave home, you go home. So Demi, I love you, and I will be home someday to see you again.
With such pain, no one would have blamed Gary or Jody Cuccia if they retreated into painful silence, but they found strength from Demi's friends and the community.
And I just hope and pray that your very powerful spirit will touch millions of lives so that this tragic, unfortunate thing doesn't have to happen to someone else's daughter.
We need to do something.
So they carry on with a mission to educate teens and parents about the dangers of teen dating violence. They produced websites like demibray.com, an interactive website for teenagers and their parents.
I just want to get the word out that this can happen. You're not immune to it. No family's immune to it.
And they fought for a new Pennsylvania law, the Demi Cuccia law, which recommends teen dating violence be part of the health curriculum in high schools because teen dating violence statistics are frightening. 1 in 5 high school girls is physically or sexually hurt by a dating partner. 1 in 3 teens experiences some kind of abuse in dating relationships. Only 33% of teens abused on a date tell a parent.
And I believe that if Demi had some of this education, that maybe she would not put herself in that situation where she was alone with him.
Gary Cuccia fights on to get Pennsylvania lawmakers to pass an even stronger bill to make teen dating violence education mandatory in schools.
I want her story to stand for something. I just don't want her to be a statistic. That's so important to me.
If you are in an abusive relationship, the longer you stay in it.
The same goes for
the more
Jody.
serious it
She
becomes,
visits
the more it
teenagers
perpetuates. It
all
doesn't
around
get
the
better,
region, like
it
the
gets
actors
worse.
from Prime Stage, rehearsing their play about teen dating violence. She impresses upon them to talk to their parents when they recognize trouble.
If you or a friend finds yourself in danger, that's when it is okay, because your parent would rather see you open up.
Go get some coffee with your brother.
Okay.
And she congratulates them on taking the initiative to dramatize the warning signs.
Yeah, I think one of the really good things about it is you're going to show, a couple that has a healthy relationship and one that doesn't.
Jody's appearance here means so much to these teens, like Hannah Weisberg of Gateway High School, who wrote the play and who remembers Demi Cuccia.
I hope that they really get the warning signs and they see what can turn into a terrible relationship, and I want them to really see how they can stop something before it escalates to something terrible like Demi Cuccia's, and I just want to stop anything from that happening again.
Warning signs that include extreme jealousy, controlling behavior, unrealistic expectations.
If someone's trying to talk to you all the time and be very,
Michael Trim of Hampton High School, who plays the jealous, controlling aggressor in the play, says knowing what to look for can keep kids safe.
You think I'm stupid? After what she said, I'm going to start looking for stuff like that.
Will you be careful from now on? Do you know the warning signs now?
Definitely. Doing this whole process has really changed the way I think about relationships and dating violence, what's acceptable and what's not.
It can easily be stopped if people speak up. They need to speak up about, what's going on in their lives, and they need to involve their parents.
A life-saving message, say the Cuccias, is Demi's legacy.
And know that by doing her legacy, I believe, is just going to be helping other people so that they don't have to go through, unfortunately, what she had to endure. I just think of her as just being a real bright spot in this world.
For additional resources about teen dating violence, log on to our website, wqed.org/experience.